What is up, you motherfuckers? Another week in the books. This one will be kind of quick, but we do have a surprise for you at the end of the video. So please be sure that you continue to tune in until the end. Final score is week 11, and we got to start with one of the most surprising matches that we've had this year. Coach Veracco at 4-6 now ends up beating Coach Stevenson, and he really just crushes his playoff hopes at this point. He may get in, but most likely not. Actually, absolutely not. Big win for Coach Veracco, 28-24. Going to kick Coach Stevenson out of the top 25. Auburn Tigers are scrambling and really just looking forward to next year. Next, we've got Iowa at 4-6. Really didn't put up a fight against Coach Waymer, a Big Ten rival or opponent, rather, against Coach Waymer in California at the Rose Bowl Stadium. He puts up 37. He was a top 25 team then. Most likely, he's a top 25 team now. I don't know, but I assume so. Big win for him as we move forward to the end of the year. Next, Kentucky ranked 21st. This was a rivalry game against myself. Really not much to say here. They couldn't hang on. Couldn't cover the pass at all. I was slinging it all over the yard. Nico was really doing some work, put up 65 points, and I remain at the top of the conference. Big win for myself. Next, Florida, Coach Octor. He winds up losing against a tough computer matchup in Texas. We will see Texas again this week against someone else in the SEC. He barely loses, 35-41, but that's going to hurt. He's now at 500 overall and 500 in the conference. Next, Oklahoma ranked 15th. This is a rivalry game against Coach Hess. Really a big win for Coach Hess. He's now 5-4 overall, 2-4 in the conference. He puts up 34 points and pulls it out against a top 25 opponent in Oklahoma. Lastly, Miami, I had to sim this one. So Coach Slick, make sure you get back on the sticks this week, hopefully. But the game did wind up giving you a W against Ball State, 24-8. Our last rivalry game for this week. We had 2 buys. I'm a little upset with you guys. You didn't send me any clips, but I have 2 for myself, so we won't leave this one blank this week. Had some very nice plays for myself here, so we'll just run through them quick. I'm up 51-14 at this point, beginning of the 4th quarter, so it doesn't really matter. 2nd and 4, play action, roll out right, sling it. I put a nice little spin move on this guy. Oh yeah, put him in the washing machine. That's a touchdown. And number 1, had to give it to myself, obviously. Really a nice punt there. To be honest, I wasn't even thinking about that as part of this clip, but might as well count it. That is a coffin corner punt right there. I don't like punting, but when I do, I want to do stuff like that. This is a user lurk with Keenan Pilly. That's not all. This is also a return. Pick 6. Good stuff. All right, let's move on. We're going to go through the stats. We're going to do this kind of quick because we do want to get to that surprise. Connor Harrell, 1 touchdown. It looks like he did keep Max Johnson in for most of the game. 228, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. No picks for Harrell, 2 for 5, and then 19 for 30 for Max Johnson. He pulls out the win. So maybe that dual QB situation ended up paying off for him. He was throwing it a lot to Omarion Hampton and Bryson Nesbitt, his 2 best players. Touchdowns for both of them, and they were both over 100 yards. Big win again for Coach Veracco. Auburn Tigers couldn't pull it out this week. 224, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, 21 for 31. And then Jarquez Hunter, 9 receptions for 86 yards and 2 touchdowns. No one else really did much. UCLA, Demarcus Davis, 480 on the yardage. A lot of yards. 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, 34 for 50. Threw the ball 50 times, just now realizing that. Wow. J. Michael Sturdivant, 6 catches, 135. Loya had 7 catches for 111. 2 receivers over the 100-yard mark and a touchdown for Sturdivant. Tennessee, big day for myself. Air raid offense was on full display. 663 yards, 7 touchdowns, 3 picks, 32 for 48. I was slinging it, and Thornton had 13 catches for 288, close to that 300-yard mark for 3 touchdowns. Florida, 478 on the yardage. He was slinging it too. 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 28 for 36. So efficient as always, really every week. He's a very efficient quarterback. And DJ Lagway is a freshman. Word on the street is Coach Octor did say he has a 5-star quarterback coming into his program next year. So we'll see what happens with DJ Lagway. He might be in the transfer portal after this year. I guess next year you can expect that. So keep an eye on him. Boardingham, again, at the top of his receiving core. 8 catches, 177 for a touchdown. Miami, the simmed game, 278. The computer was pretty nice to these Redhawks. 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, 23 for 36, 7 catches, 103 for Cold Iron. Mizzou, last game to be played just a moment ago. 277 on the yardage, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick for Coach Hess, 14 for 21. Brady Cook. This Nate Noel guy had 18 carries for 146 and a touchdown. So really toting the rock. And then there's LB3, 4 catches for 109 and a touchdown. Duo of the week, got to give it to myself. I'm not going to go through this much further. I mean, obviously big weeks for both these guys, and I love it. National Players of the Week, James Pierce Jr. had the defensive side at 5 tackles, 3 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. Here we go. Best defensive back. Here are all of the award finalists. I'm not going to go through and read every name like I was before. We're just going to do this quickly. Top 2 are the same. Jason Marshall Jr. is at 4, and then I've got 2 guys in the top 10. Brian Addison is also at number 9. Best linebacker, I'm second now, and you'll see there's a kind of a running theme here. LSU is starting to take over a lot of these top spots for these award finalists. I'm getting kind of pissed off, but it's okay. We've got a few players right behind Harold Perkins Jr., Xavier Soares down there towards the middle as well. James Pierce Jr., top defensive player, Arian Carter, Jalen McLeod, and Kamon Rucker are right down there as well towards the middle of the pack. Best head coach, Christopher Knight for UCF. Let's see some of our boys in here. Tony Seguro Jr. has now dropped to 7. I don't know what caused that. He's ranked number 12th. Who knows why I'm not on here? You know, what's going on with that? Who knows? I'm ranked 3rd, but Smokey Greens needs some action in here in the top 10. Hopefully that changes. Here's best running back. No changes here, I don't believe. Nate Noel has now moved up into the top 10, though. I don't believe he was here last week. And then we do have Florida Montrell Johnson Jr. at number 10. That may be new as well. Best QB, Will Howard still leading this. Nico moved his way up to the 3rd spot. No one else from our league in the top 10 here. Best receiver, Xavier Thomas. There we go. Another LSU bitch up there at the top. Dante Thornton has now moved to 2nd, followed by Nick Harbor, who was leading last week. And then we've got LB3 and Squirrel White towards the middle. And then there was a Florida gentleman at number 10. Arliss Boardingham, best tight end. No surprise, had another big week this week. I am following him, and then Bryson Nesbitt is following him. Best returner, Caden Durham, another LSU guy. Look at this. He has now taken over the top spot. He has dethroned TJ Abrams. We've got Bryce Kane down there towards number 10 for Auburn. Player of the year, Will Howard leading this. Again, this is a bit different than Heisman race. I don't know how or why, but Jarquez is 2nd in this race here. And then I've got Nico and James Pierce at 5 and 6. Omarion Hampton at number 10. This goes into the 2024 Heisman Trophy race presented by Nissan. Jarquez is at the top in this list, and I have now moved into the top 5. That's big for the program. Nico slinging the ball around, and we've got conference standings next. I am leading the pack. South Carolina is now ranked 12th. UCLA is at 20 now after that win against Iowa, and then Auburn has now dropped all the way to the 4th spot. We've got some fellas. This doesn't make much sense. Mizzou down there towards the bottom is ranked 21st in the top 25, though. That's really interesting. CFB playoff, I'm the only one here, so let's get some fellas into the bracket here. But this leads me to my next point, which is the most exciting part of this recap this week. Here we go. The reveal. Ready? Boom. Boom. Look at that bad boy. I'm really excited. Hopefully it stays in my household. But it looks pretty damn cool. Feels pretty damn cool. That is 3D printing technology. Good stuff. Here's our upcoming matchups for Week 12. Kent State. Well, actually, it would be a MAC matchup, but Miami is now in the SEC. 3-6 Kent State versus 2-8 Miami in Oxford, Ohio. We've got Miami, Florida against Florida Gators. This is a rivalry game. Miami's ranked 10th. He's going to have to stop Cam Ward, who is really tearing up the league. So they're 7-2, and he's trying to stay at, or I guess he would be above 500 if he wins this game for Coach Octor. Next, Mississippi State 6-3 is going to go against myself. I am still ranked number 3 in the nation at 8-1. This is in Knoxville, Tennessee at noon. I'm looking forward to this. I should demolish them and stomp them into the ground. Mizzou ranked 21st, 5-4. They are going against this is a rivalry game also. Look at this shit. Against South Carolina, who's ranked number 12th, even after not playing this past week and having a bye. They're going to move up to number 12. He's 8-2, 5-2 in the conference. This is in South Carolina. Big matchup for Coach Hess and for Coach Tony Segura Jr. God damn. Lastly, Texas, not lastly, but close to lastly, Texas is now ranked number 4 after that big win against Florida. They're going to go against Arkansas. This is a rivalry game as well. So big matchup for Coach AJ. We'll see what he does. This is a home matchup for him in Fayetteville, Arkansas at 12 p.m. Next, UCLA ranked 20th, 7-3, 5-3 in the conference, going against their just below them, actually. Better ranked Nebraska at 19. They're going to look to take their spot. They're 6-3, 5-2. They got to worry about the imposter in Dylan Raiola. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Pat Mahomes Jr., that bitch. Tear him up, Coach Whamer. We'll see. Excited to see what happens there. Vanderbilt, coming off that huge win IRL against Alabama, they're going to look to beat the other Alabama team in Auburn. And Auburn coming off a tough week. They're going to try to win this. They are knocked out of the top 25. That's a tough pill to swallow for Coach Stevenson. Vandy going to have a big week this week, and Coach Stevenson needs to tear them up. Lastly, Wake Forest at 5-4. This is another rivalry game. 4 rivalry games this week. Wow. Check that shit out. Coach Veracco at 4-6. 4-4 in the conference, though, with 2 big wins against, I believe, Coach Whamer and Coach Stevenson this year. So big wins for myself. I need to send him some money on the side for those wins. That's good stuff. That's in Chapel Hill. What's the last game that we're going to cover? I hope you guys enjoy this week, and I hope you are happy about the trophy as well, even though it's staying in my apartment. Good stuff. Bye.